Okay, we're officially recording. I hope you're doing fine.
Yes, sir.
That's good to hear. Do you have my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Opo, sir.
Okay, welcome to Module 4. This is the third to the last module for preliminary talk. Module 4 studying the research problem. Let's start with the intended learning outcomes. Somebody please read the outcomes for me.
I am expected to identify and analyze possible sources of a research problem, evaluate research problems as to its consideration and characteristics, and develop skills in identifying possible research problems.
Thank you so much. Yes. Okay, so last time we talked about, ano pinag-usapan natin ng isang hmm, Module 3,
Research proposal.
the research
Research
proposal.
Proposal po.
Yeah,
proposal.
that's it. Thank you. Yung overview ng research proposal. This time, we'll talk about the research problem. So, spotting the research problem is the heart of any research-related task. Katulad ng tao, kung walang puso, hindi mabubuhay tayo. So, it's the same with research. Kung wala tayong problema, hindi mabubuhay at mamamatay ang ating research. So, a clear perception of a certain research problem, ibig sabihin, kung meron kang malinaw na pagtingin at pagmunawa sa iyong research problem, magkakaroon ng malinaw din at well-defined na direksyon ng iyong mga tinatahak at mga decision sa research. So without a focused research problem, there is no research at all. Thus, activities that facilitate the exploration of the sources, kung saan man nagmula, and the nature o yung kalikasan ng ating problema ay indispensable or hindi maiaalis. Parang tubig, pag inalis mo sa buhay ng tao, mamamatay tayo. So it's the same with research. So problem is an indispensable tool that will set the tone of the research process in general. At the end of my talk, I will be giving your partners, but you will be working individually on Module 4. But then again, you can start collaborating and brainstorming with your partner or partners para pagdating ng Module 5, I am only expecting single output per group. Okay, so the choice of a fitted research problem is somehow not difficult. Hindi daw mahirap, sabi niya. The strong appeal to one senses may assist. Siguro, at some point, kung bukas ang ating mga isipan, kung bukas ang ating mga senses, tingnan natin kung ano ang nakikita natin, nararamdaman, naririnig, nahahawakan, na-experience, it can help us assist in the identification ng isang malinaw na research problem. So, keen observation is very important. I-multiply mo yung keen observation with critical analysis, magkakaroon ka ng magnified ability of na insofar as problem identification is concerned. Kaya naman, a student in research should identify and select a problem since this is the most elemental step in writing a thesis proposal. This is the very basic start of research processes. So let's go with the engaged phase, the research problem. Ang mga estudyante ng research katulad ninyo may find it difficult to find and select a research problem to pursue. So there are several reasons why and they are detailed below kung bakit nahihirapan ang isang estudyante na maghanap ng research problem. One of the main reasons is there are too many research problems that the student is considering. Specificity or specifics are very important when it comes to research. We cannot study a very broad area in your field because una, it will never be enough yung time, yung effort, yung yung time, yes, panahon, it will never be enough. That's why kung maraming research problems, we need to digest part by part. It could be you can start in phase 1, or it could be a continuation of a previous research na nakuha mo sa recommendation ng ibang mga thesis and dissertations. Then tinuloy mo, you can start working on phase 2, or you can start working on phase 3. Because when there are too many research problems that you want to consider, nagkakaroon tayo ng ano ng problema kasi hindi natin, 'di ba? Yung research problem mo nag-anak pa ng problema kasi hindi mo siya masaklawan. So students find it difficult to stick to their first choice of problem, and this displays to delay in the conduct of their research investigations. Most of the time, may napili ka ng problema, pero along the way, habang nagkakanta ka na ng research, nagkakaroon ng emerging problems na parang mas interesante kang i-pursue, na kapag lumipat ka ng research problem or you go into a different emerging problems, nadidelay ang proseso because you need to go back to the very beginning basta nagpalit ka ng research problem. So one of the main reason kung bakit mahirap magkuha o kumuha ng research problem is that maraming tumatakbo sa isipan natin na gusto nating bilang mga estudyante ng research na gusto nating i-fetch. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go with the next.
Yes, sir.
Number 2 is the needed data are difficult to obtain. Yan. Students can select a very interesting research problem. It's good. Nakapili ka ng interesting na research problem. May gusto kang solusyonan na malaking problema na kapag ginawan mo ng research, ginawan mo ng program, will help actually the local or the research local will help make ease on the operation of a certain company or a certain system in a certain locality or in a certain scope. However, it could be the needed data are quite difficult to obtain. Paano nagiging nangyayari yung mahirap i-obtain? Let's say, for example, these are interesting problem like non-verbal correct behaviors of administrators. Pag tinagalog mo, ano yung mga gawi, kilos ng mga na related sa pagiging kurakot ng mga administrador. So, very interesting, but the data na kailangan mong makuha is very difficult to obtain. Kasi, pag mga sensitive issues na katulad niyan, ay mahihirapan tayong mag-pursue at magdire-diretso. One more thing is the plagiaristic practices of secondary teachers. It's good to know those things. Pero sinong teacher ang magsasabi sa'yo at magsasubject dun sa study mo at aaminin niya na nangongopya siya at meron siya mga plagiaristic practices. So those were kind of topics or research problem na mahirapan kang makakuha ng data. One thing also is the case analysis of the teaching effectiveness of teachers accused of sexual harassment. So you need to look for teachers na nang-harass ng estudyante at titingnan mo yung kanilang teaching effectiveness kung gaano sila kahusay magturo. In that sense, ay pag i-inquire pa lang sa teacher about the matter is somehow some kind of a violation of their privacy or something. When I was in my collegiate days, one of the proposal that I want to pursue in my research when I was in my fourth year college, kasi fourth year kami nag-research, first semester, ay kung gaano ka-effective magturo ang aming teachers sa linya namin sa field, yung sa major of specialization namin. My specialization is mechanical. So, that's my proposal. And of course, dun ko lang parang as I go along with the proposal, as I go along with the topic, teachers are actually blocking the titles. Since, bakit ko kailangan i-subject? Kumbaga kung ako si teacher, bakit ko kailangan i-allow ang isang title na isa-subject ang sarili ko for an evaluation at ang mag-evaluate ay isang estudyante. So there were facts, there were research problems na mahirap mag-obtain ng data. In your case, I think wala naman tayo masyadong magiging problema unless otherwise ang sistema na yung bubuuin ay nag-i-involve ng mga limitadong mga datos na hindi dapat pinapaalam sa madla, something like this or something like that. It depends on the nature of the program that you want to pursue. So when these types of these studies are pursued, many of them may point out the difficulty of obtaining the potent information. That's the second reason. The needed data are difficult to obtain. The third reason goes like this. Not all social problems are empirically testable. Uh, Hindi rin siya masyadong ma-experience sa inyong area. Most of the time, it goes with the social sciences, history major, psychology major students. Like social problems of this nature are called metaphysical problems. So with this, it may mean that not all social problems are measurable, especially those that talk about attitudinal and moralistic dimensions. Kasi may mga bagay na maaaring acceptable sa ating o maaaring acceptable sa ibang kultura pero hindi acceptable sa kultura natin. Let's say for example, yung pagpapakasal ng minor de edad ng 9 years old. So sa moralistic dimension ng mga Tagalog at ng mga Kristiyano na katulad natin, somehow hindi siya pumapasa. But when you put it into the different dimension, moralistic dimension ng ibang mga kultura at ibang relihiyon, they may somehow approve of the idea. So, may mga social problems tayo na minsan hindi mo pwedeng sukatin, hindi mo pwedeng i-generalize simply because it is exclusive to a certain culture or a certain religion. It's the same with attitude. Pwedeng ang behavior ng bata sa loob ng klase ay hindi mo pwedeng i-translate into highly acceptable or unacceptable and highly unacceptable simply because you put parameters to the attitude. Kasi it could be tolerable to some teachers and at some point on your own parameter hindi siya tolerable. So social problems somehow are empirically not testable. So, let's go with the fourth. The fourth is the student does not know how to specify a research problem. So it is due because to the little exposure of the students in the nature and process of research. Kung wala kang experience, kung wala kang know-how, wala kang basic knowledge, kung paano kinakandak ang research. So because of the little exposure, you do not know or you do not have the skill or the research skill necessary in the conduct of your study. There might be instances that they will find the specification of a research problem very problematic. Therefore, students must really work really hard to master the process and probably develop skills in the identification of a research problem. Kung ikaw ay uri ng estudyante na sa kasalukuyan ay parang nangangapa pa at wala pang alam, hindi ka nag-iisa kasi marami din talagang estudyante kahit sa master's level, kahit sa doctorate level na nagdodoktor na pero hindi pa rin masyadong familiar sa research processes, sa research problem. Actually, when I enter my PhD, I've been in my study for a year now. So isang taon na siya. Pero nagkaroon ng parang culture shock when I entered my university simply because I am not that acquainted with the research during my master's level or during my undergraduate level. Nung ako ay bachelor at saka nung master's, since technology ang nililinyahan ng aking profession, technology education, mas familiar ako sa quantitative research. We do gadgets, we create inventions, so on and so forth. We gauge things with 1, 2, 3, 4, which is acceptable, which is not. Pero pagpasok ko sa PhD, which is a research-based doctorate program, na lahat ng subject nagre-research, parang nabuksan ng isang dimensyon ng mundo sa aking experience in my profession na may malaki pa palang unexplored area. No? So, kung sa kasalukuyan naguguluhan ka pa at wala pang malinaw na direksyon, it's okay. It will come little by little as you understand kung paano siya ginagawa. Hindi naman kayo papabayaan ng inyong mga guro at ng inyong mga advisors. So, what we actually want from you right now is your commitment. Kasi kung walang commitment, kung walang zest, excitement, kung walang motivation, kung wala kang interest sa iyong ginagawa, mahirap nating i-pursue ang isang pag-aaral. No? Kahit naman hindi sa research, kahit sa anong ginagawa natin, kung hindi ka interesado, mahirap nating tapusin ang mga bagay-bagay. That's the fourth. Let's go with the fifth. What's the first? What is the first?
Too many research problems that the student is considering.
Okay. Too many research problems. The second?
The needed data are difficult to obtain.
Data. Okay. Number 3,
Not all social
Not
Not
all
all
problems
social
social
problems
problems
are
are testable.
empirically testable.
testable. Yes, that's another problem. Number 4.
The student does not
The
know
student
how to
does not know
specify
how
a
to
research
specify
problem.
a research problem.
Okay. Number 4 na yung sinabi ko, no? Then number 5, the student may not know the sources of the research problems. Actually, while I am talking, nagpiprint din ako sa kasalukuyan ng final manuscript ng ating mga estudyante. And pag ganitong technology research, like sa computer technology, umaabot siya ng mga 150 pages because of the program tools. So the student may not know the sources of research problems. That's very true. Hindi mo alam ang pinagmumulan ng research problem. Many students spend darful moments. You spend a lot of time, you spend a lot of moments, you spend a lot of restless hours searching for a research problem because of the fact that they may be neophytes in the field of research. When we said neophyte, baguhan. So finding research problems in the way and place causes problematic situation. Actually, kung maghahanap ka ng sandok, maghahanap ka dapat ay sa kusina. Diba? Unlikely na mag-exist ang sandok sa sala. So it's the same with the research problem. If you're looking for a problem in a different place, in a wrong place, mahirapan kang ma-identify siya. So make sure that you are looking enough into your field. Katulad ng pinag-uusapan namin kaninang ng FSM, ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng food and service management? Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng service? So sabi nila, pag daw service, may kasamang food processing, may kasamang catering, may kasamang event preparation, may kasamang skirting, ano pa ba? May storage, may packaging. So in all those things, they can evaluate catering services. They can compare technology na ginagamit ng isang uh, restaurant, like yung kung mapapansin nyo, yung ginagamit na technology ni McDo sa kanilang ordering system, yung parang malaking tablet na pinipindot pagpasok mo ng kanilang store. It's a form of technology. They can measure the effectiveness of those kinds of technology, o kaya i-compare mo yung technology na ginagamit sa isang restaurant with the other restaurant. In your own point of view naman, bilang mga computer programming students, you need to look into the different considerations into your field of specialization, like ano ba yung mga bagay na pwedeng makakatulong sa problema ng paaralan. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, you start with the school because there are so many things that need to be improved inside the school. Kung taga-Gumaka ka and you're localist or Gumaka campus, so look into the details of Gumaka. You listen to the students, alamin mo kung anong mga nirereklamo nila na pwede mong mapasukan ng solusyon. You dwell and you look into the proper place. So, finding research problems in a way and place causes problematic situations kung hindi natin alam kung saan tayo mag-aanap. If only their problem search is directed at the proper sources. Kung sa tamang lugar, kung sa tamang pinagkukunan, ang identification sana ng research can be a much easier task. So, that's number 5. The student might not know the sources of the research problems. So, with number 6. Number 6 goes with this. The students may not have enough interest and special qualification to conduct the study. Yan. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, kung wala tayong motivation. So the student researchers must have developed genuine interest in the problem to sustain their efforts and motivation until the conclusion of the entire research process. As you go along with your study, ma-encounter mo na walang kwenta naman pala yung kapartner mo, na sana mag-solo ka na lang kasi wala naman siyang ginawa, nag-ambag lang, tapos yun na. So there are situations that may have hampered our interest and our enjoyment. So because of that, pwedeng na dadamay tayo, na nasasama tayo dun sa sige na nga, huwag na nga lang, bahala na. Yeah. But we need to look into that kind of motivation that will keep us moving forward. Hindi ko alam kung saan kayo humuhugot sa kasalukuyan ng motivation, kung sa pamilya ba, sa expectations ng parents, sa expectation ng mga kapatid, o sa kagustuhan yung makatapos ng pag-aaral, o dahil mahirap ka sa kasalukuyan at gusto mong mag-improve yung buhay. Ano man ang inyong uri ng motivation na pinanghahawakan sa akin. Make sure that those motivation will keep you moving forward towards the end. So that pagdating mo ng conclusion, ay salamat, nasa conclusion na. Alam mo, pinaka-exciting na gawin sa research is chapter 5 because chapter 5 napaka-easy lang yan, mga 5 pages lang. Ang laman lang yan ay summary, ano yung findings, ano yung conclusion, ano yung recommendations. Then that's it. Tapos na ang research. Then you will just add the appendices, then edit, then print, then have the panel approve your research, and that's it. Pwede nang ipabook bind. No, it's a year-long process. Remember that. So make sure you have enough zest, enough motivation, enough courage to pursue the things that you are doing, especially in research. So at the same time, the student researchers whose field of specialization is health sciences, ito yung tinatawag na qualification. Kung magre-research ka, mag-venture ka sa research na hindi mo linya, magkakaproblema tayo. So let's say, for example, you're venturing and looking forward na magawa ng game application na para sa physics. Kung hindi mo linya ang physics, edi wala kang magagawa kundi sumurrender at sabihin na kailangan ko ng expert in this part, hindi ko siya kayang mag-isa kasi hindi ko naman ito linya. As much as possible, you work on your specialization. Kung kayang gumawa ng mga game application related to programming, it's good, to Java, to PHP, to IoT, so on and so forth, it's up to you. Kung merong trainer na madi-develop, it's up to you, depending on your capacity in your field of specialization. Okay. Naiintindihan, palinaw po ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes po.
Opo.
Opo, sir.
Okay, let's now proceed with the criteria in formulating a research problem. So, sabi ni Cristobal, hindi pala. Sabi ni Barrientos Tan, na sinite ni Cristobal and Cristobal, pag ganyang magkadoble ang apelyido, ibig sabihin is either magkapatid yan o mag-asawa, basta dalawang tao sila. So, meron daw po tayong external at internal criteria pag pipili tayo ng research problem. At ang mga yon ay ang mga sinusunod. Okay, can you see my screen?
Sir.
Opo.
Sir.
Yes po. Yes,
Ano
sir.
nakikita nyo? Anong kulay?
Kulay blue po yung mga boxes.
Blue po yung
Okay.
Kulay blue po.
Okay, kulay blue. So, it starts with external criteria habang nag-below pa siya. So, for external criteria, syempre, panglabas ito. Pag naghahanap ka nagpa-formulate ka ng research problem, this starts with novelty. Bagaman hindi naman ito sunod-sunod. Let's start with novelty. Yung may practical value ng problema due to its newness. Yung tipong pag narinig ng iba, yung bagong ano yan, hindi ko naisip yan. Yan, may novelty. Something new. Kung luma siya, kasi recommendation siya from old studies, tiningnan siya sa ibang perspective. Tiningnan siya kumbaga kung tiningnan ko siya sa paharap, tiningnan mo siya ng patalikod. Yan, may ibang perspective. May novelty. Next one is the availability of subjects. Ang subject sa konteksto nitong pagkakasulat nito is your respondents. Baka yung pinupursu mo na study ay wala kang makukuhang subjects, wala kang makukuhang respondents. So make sure you have. There are people with desired capacity and willingness na mag-participate sa study. So make sure there are available subjects. Next, let's go with ethical consideration. Yan. So avoidance of research problems that pose an ethical demands. Kung iwasan po natin yung may masasakripisyong mga ethical consideration, may mga halimbawa, venturing into sexual harassment, baka merong nagpa-violate tayo ng Privacy Act ng mga biktima, baka may merong na-exploit, edi hindi pwede. O kaya naman halimbawa, inaaral mo kung magiging effective kapag uminom ng lambanog yung mga bata kapag sila ay nag-aaral. Of course, you're exposing the students to lambanog as part of your study, edi may exploitation dyan, may ethical consideration. So, avoid those things. Halimbawa, ang gusto mong gawin ay isang uri ng program na nagli-list down ng mga porn sites sa internet. Siyempre, may ethical consideration. Pwedeng ewan ko lang, parang walang sense, no? Parang parang sige, may research problem ka at makakatulong marahil sa porn community, pero may ethical consideration. May moral values kang tinatapik na baka hindi pa pwede at hindi posible. So do not venture on those things na may ethical consideration. Bagaman lagi namang merong ethical consideration kasi lagi nating kino-cover up kung ano ang background ng ating mga experts. Minsan hindi natin sila pinapangalanan kasi hindi naman nila binibigyan ng permiso. Like kung sa field ng FSM, kung i-compare mo si Jollibee at saka si McDo, of course, ay baka magtalo o baka syempre may lalabas na mas mahusay at mas hindi. So, merong mga ethical consideration na hindi na lang, takloban na lang yung pangalan, gawin na lang sa restaurant A and restaurant B. So, it's the same with any field ng research. Meron tayong ethical consideration. Next is the admin support, this one. In our case, bilang mga teachers sa higher education institution, we are tasked to make research. Kasama sa core functions namin ang pagre-research. So, nagpo-propose kami ng research, dumadaan din kami sa panel, tapos ini-scrutinize ang papel, tapos kapag napapayag mo ang panel sa research mo at saka sa funding na kailangan mo, bibigyan ka ng pera ng paaralan. Bibigyan ka ng pera ng SLS. In our case, like in my proposal in extension services, I have proposed a project na ka-approve lang siguro parang last month. Ang budget na iniaalat ng university for my project is 120,000. Of course, hindi mo naman pera yung 120,000 na gagastusin mo sa kahit saan. It should be properly liquidated because those were government funds. Kung walang admin support, kung walang support sa SLS, we cannot pursue on those things. In your case, hindi naman pwedeng sa SLS ang gagastos ng research ninyo, di ba? So, dahil estudyante kayo, ang sinasabi nating admin support is the willingness of the institution sa pag-gather ng data. Kasi kung hindi papayag ang isang institution na mag-gather ka ng data, edi hindi ka makakakuha ng respondents, hindi ka makakakuha ng data. At dahil hindi ka makakakuha ng data, hindi mo mapupursue ang Chapter 4 at Chapter 5 ng study mo. So, mahihinto siya. So, admin support is very important. And of course, the availability and adequacy of facilities and equipment, marahil marami sa inyo makaka-experience nito. May available ka bang computer? May available ka bang internet sources? May laboratory apparatus ka ba? Kung nasa bahay ka lang, wala ka namang magamit sa pang-program, wala kang laptop, ang ginagamit mo lang ay cellphone. Diba? Paano ka magpo-program? Bagaman meron yatang mga cellphone application na nag-aalaw sa atin na mag-program. Tapos kung walang ganun, edi pwede nyo ring i-venture na mag-propose ng isang mobile application na makakatulong sa mga estudyante na mag-program din. So, availability and adequacy of facilities and equipment are external criteria in doing or formulating a research problem. Let's go with the internal. Sa panloob naman, yes, of course, time factor. Studies must be pursued in a given time frame. In your case, it's 1 year. Kami, pag nagre-research kami, depende sa professor. Pag sa subject professor, ang subject ko kasi good for 3 months. So after 3 months, dapat nakaproduce na ako ng output. Ganun siya kabilis mag-transition. Tapos, hindi lang basta naman isang oras, you cannot produce research or quality research in a day or in a week. Most of the time, it took you months. And in our case, it's a year. Di ba? So, time factor is very important. Tapos, pinagsasabay mo pa siya sa napakarami mong subject na hinahawakan sa kasalukuyan. Kung meron kang 10 subjects, 4 ang major, di ba? Tapos may mga prof-ed, tapos may research, okay? Tapos nasa bahay ka lang. Tapos, kasi iba pa rin pag nasa school ka, may library, tapos may internet sa school. Tapos, madaling magtanong sa mga teachers, pwedeng pumunta ng personal at makipag-usap, unlike pag online. So, time factor is very important. That's internal criteria. You need to make time to produce quality research. Next is the cost. Siyempre, wala ka nang pang-online class. Wala ka nang pang-baon. Tapos gagastos ka daw ng 15,000 para sa research. So, it is one of the major considerations. Yung iba nakakapagbenta ng baka. No, in your case, hindi naman masyadong mahal kasi nga magpo-program naman kayo at hindi naman kayo bibili ng mga outputs. Yung returns, it depends. Halimbawa, ang nagawa mong research ay napakamainam at napakahusay. Binili ng isang kumpanya, then there is a potential return. Pwede mo ikayaman. Kaya ganda ng mga research proposal. Next, experience, training, professional qualifications. Yan. Wala nang experience, wala ding training, walang professional qualifications. So how can we pursue it? Pero don't worry, gaya na sabi ko kanina, kung nasaan ka mang level na yan, ng frustration before you enter this research class, it's okay. As much as possible. Huwag matakot sa panel. Tulungan tayo ng panel kung paano gawin ang mga bagay. Next, motivation, intellectual curiosity, and perceptiveness of researcher. Yan. Essential attitudes that bring satisfaction and enjoyment. Dapat motivated. Gusto mo yung ginagawa mo. In our case, kapag kami nag-research, isa sa pinakagusto naming part, of course, pagkatapos mo mag-research, pag natapos mo na siya, makaka-receive ka ng incentive. In SLSU, depende kung magbabago ang policy, pero 10,000 lang yung binibigay na incentive pag nakatapos ka ng isang research na institutionally funded. Sa iba kasi mga university, umaabot ng 50,000. So those were form of motivation. At the same time, malaki ang edge mo sa promotion kapag marami kang research. Tapos yung research mo, pwede kang dalhin sa iba't ibang mga bansa. You apply halimbawa, may nakita kang conference sa India or sa US, then i-apply mo kay SLSU kung pwede kang i-finance. Pag pinayagan kang i-finance, edi babayarin ni SLSU yung gastos mo, yung paglipad mo, yung pocket money mo, so on and so forth. Pero minsan, because those were government funds, yan ay cut down into, let's say for example, ang kaya lang ibigay ni SLSU is 20,000. So, kailangan mong i-balance din kung may kakayahan ka. Then, kung mapapublish mo siya, mas malaki din yung makukuha mo na incentive in terms of points kasi hindi lahat ng faculty ay nakakapag-research, nakakapag-present, at nakakapag-publish. In your case, kung mag-venture talaga kayo sa teacher education program, kahit yung inyong undergraduate thesis, katulad ngayon na nabubuuin ninyo, ay pwede rin ninyo magamit for your promotion in the future. Kahit sa DepEd, napakalaki ng points na nakukuha ng mga teachers na nagre-research. Okay. Last is the hazards, penalties, and handicaps. So, depende ito sa researcher's physical intellectual capacity. Minsan, kung wala ka talaga ng research skills na kinakailangan, kasi, halimbawa, mahina ang comprehension, hindi ka nga marunong mag-spell ng tama, ay talagang mahihirapan ka because of the intellectual capacity. Pag sinabi natin physical naman, di ito, halimbawa, pipi ka, bingi, bulag, di meron talagang mga hindrances na katulad niyan para ikaw ay makapag-pursue ng research. Anyway, but as much as possible, ang pinakamahalaga sa kanila. Bagaman, we consider all those things as factors, but motivation is very important. Gaya ng pag-aaral, motivation is a factor in andragogy. Kailangan mataas ang motivation level para makapag-pursue ng pag-aaral. Okay. Am I getting myself clear?
Yes po.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Yes po.
Okay. Let's go with the next step. Hindi ko lang mag-respond dito. Alam nyo, si Gmit ay may problema pag nasa cellphone, hindi siya nakakapag-record. So, baka pwedeng gumawa kaya ng application na katulad ni Gmeet na kahit nasa cellphone ay nakakapag-record. It's an innovation. Si Discord, kaya hindi ko ginagamit na si Discord, nahirapan ako sa recording. Kasi, tapos pag 25 above ang taong kasama sa call ay hindi mo na pwedeng buksan ang camera. So those were also limitations. Baka pwedeng gumawa ng application na kayang i-address yung mga ganyan concerns, edi much better. Si Zoom, okay naman si Zoom. Nagre-record din si Zoom. Napakalaki lang ng MB na kinakain ni Zoom. So baka naman may mga gateway or something. I'm not so familiar with your field na pwedeng pakialaman na magpapababa ng MB yung fitted kung anong meron tayo sa Pilipinas. So those were some kind of problems na pwedeng eventually Okay, let's go to the general considerations of a good research problem. Kahit objective, ginagamit natin ito, yung SMART. Of course, S stands for specific, M is measurable, A achievable or attainable, R is realistic, and T is time-bound. So specific, it should be specifically stated. Kasi nga, gaya ng problem natin kanina, yung problem number 1, baka masyadong malawak. So specify po na. It should be measurable, kayang sukatin gamit ang iyong, it could be measured gamit ang research instrument sa pag-collect ng data or yung survey material. It should be achievable. Pag ginamitan mo ng correct statistical tools, magagamit at matatapos. Ma-attain. It should be realistic. Real results, not manipulated. When I was in my undergrad level, ang mga nakapakadami kong kaklase ang nandadaya ng results. Na sabi, itas mo, gawin mong 4 para makapasa kasi pag mababa yan, papaulit sa atin yan. So, they are manipulating the data, which is not good in research. When you manipulate data, hindi mo sinusukat at hindi mo napapakita yung totoong situation. Diba? Kung kailangan na improvement, we need to improve. So, be realistic in dealing with the results. And of course, should be time-bound. The investigation can be completed within the required time. In your case, it's 1 year. Extra. Minsan, may naglalaro na sa isipan mo na research problem pero ayaw mo siyang ikwento muna kasi pag kinuwento mo siya baka maago yung idea. It's okay. Hayaan natin na magsalita yung mga idea ninyo sa module para pag chinekan ko makita ko kung okay, this is a good one. And actually, kailangan nyo ng approval ko bago kayo magpunta sa title defense. Kailangan nyo rin mag-apply for title defense bago kayo makapunta sa title defense. So, kahit modular ang pinili mong approach at hindi ka makakonect online, pagdating sa title defense, kailangan mo mag-appear online. Okay? As ang policy na sinusunod natin, kung hindi ka haharap sa panel, maybe hindi ka makakapasa. Kasi kahit nakasama ka nung kagrupo mo, pero wala ka sa mismong laban, magkakaproblema tayo. Ngayon, kung nahirapan ka online, bumaba ka na ng bayan, wala pa rin, siguro we can talk, we can make arrangement, defense sa pamamagitan ng phone call. Kung hindi, kaya ka pwede mag-transport, magpakita ka sa loob ng SLSU, gawa natin ang paraan kung paano natin masosolve ang mga bagay. So these are the sources of problems. Isa pa pala, kapag po mag-a-apply na po ng thesis title, mukhang kakailanganin ko po ang isang membro ng grupo na magsadya sa ating paaralan para magpapirma ng ating application. I-announce ko naman yung mga guidelines yan kung mapupursue ito. Okay, so ito ang pwedeng mga pinagkukunan ng ating mga problema. So the following are potential sources of problems in research. First, personal interests, observations, and experiences. Tingin ka sa sarili mo. Punta ka sa computer shop. Tingnan mo kung anong mga sinasabi ng mga nagko-computer. Punta ka sa school. Anong pinag-uusapan sa school na pwede mong ma-improve? So look into your personal interest. Kung sinong gagawa ng research, it is very important to sustain the zest or the enjoyment or the excitement or the motivation in completing the task. It's worth mentioning that problems are surrounding us. So napakaraming problema sa paligid, which means to say that researchers need to just be more senseful. You just need to be more aware and more curious so you can creatively and critically identify a problem. You look into your surrounding. Baka may matutulong ka sa nanay mo na kapag ginamitan mo ng application, ginawan mo ng program, mas mabuti. Baka pwedeng nakaprogram din yung pagbukas at pagpatay ng ilaw ninyo o kaya yung pagpapagana ng television o kaya ng air condition, yung mga ganong tipo. O kaya i-automate mo ang isang sistema na nag-i-exist sa paligid mo. It's up to you. So with the next, you can look into the books, the research and professional journals, laganap yan sa internet. Gaya na sinabi ko nung nakaraan, kung hindi ma-download, gumamit ng Sci-Hub. So books or Google Scholars or other platforms. So books on research theories and philosophies can be sources of problems. At the same time, reviewing research professional journals would lead one in the selection of a research concern. By going through these kinds of materials, you can be able to identify potential research area, establish theories, models, and frameworks. So, basa-basa. Number 3, it could be problems in your workplace. Kung ikaw ay working student, kung ikaw ay may nakikitang problema in your workplace, you just observe. Maintain active consciousness on what is happening in the workplace may lead to problem identification. Baka may naitutulong ka sa problema na kinakaharap mo saan ka nagtatrabaho sa kasalukuyan, like hostile classroom culture and climate. This is in the context of an education student. Ungracious learning, social, physical, and psychological environment are examples of problems that may be identified sa work area. So, observe, makipag-usap ka sa mga tao nasa paligid mo, makipag-usap ka sa magulang mo, makipag-usap ka sa kapatid mo, makipag-usap ka sa mga tao sa computer shop, sa mga restaurants, baka may maitutulong. Wait lang. Okay. Going back. For classroom discussions, mag-uusap tayo, nagsasalita si sir. May napasok na mga idea. May napasok na mga idea sa isipan mo. Oh, it's good. So, when I give examples, pansin mo, no, pwede ko palang i-venture yung ganun uri ng problema. Sana hindi naisip ng iba. O kaya naman ay nagsasalita yung klase mo, nagsishare siya ng kanyang observation. It could be also a potential research problem. Pwedeng ang nakita ng kaklase mo ay iba sa nakikita mo pero parehong problema. So, it could be the same but in different perspective. Pwede mo rin mapagkuhaan ng source ng classroom discussions. Next. Technological and scientific advancement. Yeah, the use of scientific investigations and technological innovations can be of help in problem identification. Gaano ka-effective yung ginagamit ng isang establishment, in their system, in their, yung katulad na pinag-usapan natin nung nakaraan, yung procurement system. Yan. But you are not into the measurement of effectiveness. You are into the process of developing hindi sa effectiveness. Kasi effectiveness, ibig sabihin may existing na technology. So, you can also look into different computer interface learning or computer web learning or hybrid teaching, paano ini-incorporate ang blended learning, yung modular, baka pwedeng modular na hindi sinusulat, baka pwedeng module na interactive sa cellphone na doon ka na mismo meron kaming isang project din in research. We call it CSIS or the Citizen Satisfaction Index System. We've been partnered with DILG or the Department of Interior Local Government for so many years now. Nagsimula yung project namin ng Nagsimula yung project namin ng 2013. Inikot na namin ang iba't ibang mga bayan sa Quezon because ang research problem niya, kailangan namin masukat ang level of satisfaction ng ating mga constituents sa serbisyong binibigay ng gobyerno sa kanila. So, gumagamit kami ng 25 pages questionnaire na minsan ay umaabot ng 1.5 oras na nakikipag-usap ang aming mga interviewer sa ating mga constituent na minsan nakakapagod. Tapos, ini-encode mo yung data. Then, pagka-encode mo ng data, mag-generate ka ng report, which is actually very tasky. So, we are naisip namin, bakit hindi tayo gumawa ng isang computer program na pwede sa cellphone or sa tablet, ilo-load natin yung questionnaire para paglapag natin sa field, ang hawak na lang natin ay cellphone. Tapos, once natapos ang interview, so doon ka lang mag-encode. After mo makapag-encode, i-click send mo lang, diretso na siya sa database. Tapos, matik na pag nag-click ka ng generate report, lalabas na yung mga tables. So on and so forth. So we are planning to pursue that that kind of research. Pero siya ay nasa field pa lang ng hindi pa namin mabigyan ng focus kasi masyadong busy ang aming technical people. Ang technical people namin sa project na yun ay si Sir Joriel Mazo. So dahil nagtatapos din si Sir ngayon ng kanyang master's degree at nandun na rin siya sa kanyang thesis writing, di busy talaga siya. No? So, pwede rin naman namin siyang ipagawa sa bata as part of your research. Pero let's see, we can negotiate on those things. Depende sa sitwasyon at pagkakataon. So it could also be added. Baka sa DepEd makakatulong ka kung mag-create ka ng program for DepEd na madaling ma-facilitate ang monitoring ng mga bagay-bagay. May isa pa kaming proposal ng research sa SLSU na dapat ay na-approve na sa kasalukuyan pero dahil sa kakulangan ng resources, kakulangan ng data, hindi pa namin na-pursue. So, ang gusto namin mangyari, magkaroon ng document tracking system si SLSU kasi base sa experience ng mga estudyante at ng mga faculty members, nawawala lagi ang papel. Nagpasa kami, bakit natabunan, nawala? O kaya naman, nakuha na daw yung papel, may pirma na, pero hindi malaman kung nasaan. So, we proposed a document tracking system for SLSU system. Yun. So, ang gusto namin, lahat ng dokumento ay merong QR code. Tapos, pag pasok ng papeles sa isang office, i-encode siya gamit ang QR code sa system. Tapos, matatrack mo kung saan na siya pumupuntang area. Tapos, malalaman mo kung saan mo siya itatrack. Halimbawa, okay, nandito na siya sa ganitong office. So, madali ang tracking ng documents. Pero, dahil time ng pandemya, nung panahon na ginagawa namin ng proposal, it was hold, hindi namin na-pursue. Binigyan kami ng isang taon para kumpletuhin ang proposal. You can also venture on those things. Pwede rin namin ipagawa sa estudyante. Tandaan po natin ang ating pong mga advisor ay co-author ng ating mga researches. So, kahit sarili mo siyang idea, because of the expertise and the service that your advisor will give and render to you, di co-author mo siya. So kung advisor mo ako at yun ang ginawa mong research, so meron akong karapatan na gamitin siya at i-elevate siya into institutional level. In that case, lagi namang kasama ang pangalan ng estudyante in all publications, in all presentations. Kung gusto mong sumama mag-present sa ibang bansa, edi sumama ka. Kaya lang, kung hindi ka empleyado ng SLSU, edi hindi ka ma-finance ni SLSU. But since ikaw ang gumawa at kasama ka sa gumawa, your name will always be incorporated. Okay. Next. Naiintindihan?
Yes po.
Okay. Sana gising pa kayo.
Yes, sir.
Kung frustrated ka na at wala ka na makuha topic, ito gawin mo. Undergraduate and graduate thesis and dissertations. Pag sinabing undergraduate, ito yung bachelor's degree. Pag sinabing graduate, ito yung master's at doctorate. So tingin ka sa mga thesis. Tingnan mo yung recommendation nasa chapter 5, nasa last part ng chapter 5. Hanapin mo kung anong nire-recommend ng author. Tapos, pwede mo siyang gawing research. Kasi yung mga recommendations, yun yung mga bagay na hindi ginagawa ng existing research. O ito yung mga bagay na dapat ay kadugsong na pag-aaral ng existing research. So you can venture in those things. Kung makukuha mo ang buong chapters 1 to 5, that's good. Nasa chapter 5 siya. Kung makukuha mo lang naman ay journal, basta mahalaga, meron kang abstract. Sa abstract, basahin mo yung palast na part, mababasa mo yung findings at saka yung conclusions at saka yung pahapyaw o pinaka-importante mga recommendations. You can look on those theses and dissertations. Next, suggestions from friends. Yan. Halimbawa, ako teacher. Nag-suggest ako na ito yung may pursue mo, o it could be a good, hindi ka na mag-iisip because it's a suggestion. Could be from administrators, o kaya may mga research agenda ang ating mga faculty. Halimbawa, gusto ni ma'am ganito ay ganyan, sige ito pursue mo. O kaya si director, mayroon siyang gustong ipagawang research na makakatulong sa school, pwedeng ipagawa sa inyo. Pero make sure na kung ganito ang magiging setup, ay yung ipupursue mo na pag-aaral ay yung nasa line pa rin ng interest mo. Ano? Halimbawa, paano ka makakatulong sa gaming community since gamer ka? Diba? It could be some form of application that will help the gaming community. So, suggestions from friends or administrators o kaya sa kapatid mo. Kung meron kang kapatid na techie o may kapatid kang educator, you ask him or her for ideas. O kaya yung nanay, tatay mo, mami, daddy, tito, tita, you ask them. Next, specialization, of course, in your field. The problem may also spring from one specialization. You improve the system that surround your specialization, would keep the researchers' awareness of some prevailing problems in the field. So, it could be kung teacher education, it could be curricular enhancement, teachers' educational and instructional expertise, etc. There are some potent research problems. In your case, you look into your specialization, which is the computer programming. Tingnan nyo kung ano ang mga nire-research ng mga computer programmer in other schools. Meron kasi mga kurso na hindi Btvted, pero pure computer programming. Diba? So, look into details on those things. O kaya halimbawa, yung mga computer programming courses sa senior high school, magtingin ka rin, baka may mga problema kang ma-identify. Kausapin mo yung teacher mo na programmer nung senior high school ka. Baka meron siyang mga interest in research na pwede mong ma-venture. Of course, kaya nga tayo nagre-research, nag-identify na research problem kasi merong issue at merong problema. So it can also be the origin of a research problem. Problema na nag-emerge from a problem. Studies on issues and problems about gender inequality, women empowerment, classroom evidence and violence and bullying, parental absenteeism, etc. may be pioneered by researchers. This is in the field of education. So you look for relevant issues and problems in your field of specialization. Next, organizational and managerial problems. So it can be also studied by researchers working on problems like management and leadership. Ito ay more on the business administration side or the educational leadership side. It's the end. Do you have a question? Magtanong na habang leader pa magtanong. Tao po. Question?
Wala po, sir.
Wala.
Wala po.
You want to know your group mates now?
Yes po. Opo.
Yes po, sir.
Kailanan yan, sir.
Dalawa. May dalawang grupo na tatlo. Isang gumaka, tsaka isang dosena. Tandaan po ha, ang Module 4 ay isasabit next week. That's September 29. Makikita nyo na siya sa Google Classroom na upload ko na siya kanina. Madaling araw. Tapos, wait lang. Mga chat. Sa mga nagtatanong kung saan makakakuha ng completion form, sa registrar's office po. Kailangan nyo po mag-suggest sa registrar's office. Sometime on the 6th or the 7th week pala tayo magpo-pursue ng ating title defense. Kailangan nating i-check pang availability ng ating mga panel. Of course, I am one of the member of the panel. Ang member ng panel ay 4. So, kung sinong kaharap ninyo sa title defense, kaharap nyo rin yan sa proposal at kaharap nyo rin next year. Next year nga ba yun? Oo, sa final defense. So, 4 kami. Tapos, usually ang lumalabas sa manuscript ay 3. Magiging 3 yun pagka nagdating sa proposal defense kasi may advisor na. So kung 4 kami, pagdating ng proposal, advisor mo ko, so yung 3 ang panel mo. Sa kasunod, kung ang advisor mo naman yung isa, basta laging may iwan na 3. Okay. Let's start with Alberto. Alberto, nandito ka?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, Alberto, ang kapartner mo ay si Gordula.
Sige po, sir.
Noted. Gordula, are you here? Gordula?
Yes po.
Ayan, partner kayo ni Alberto. Ha? Okay.
Thank you po.
Maraming salamat. Ay, kailangan ko palang mag-adjust, no? Si Batanes ba yan? Anong balita? Batanes. Wala kayong balita. Nag-left na sa lahat ng GC.
Opo. Wala po kami
Okay.
balita.
Okay. Amores?
Yes po.
Amores. Ang original mong kapartner ay si Batanes. Pero dahil nag-leave na si Batanes, ang magiging kapartner mo ay si Merilles.
Okay po, sir.
Merilles? Merilles? Merilles, magparamdam ka. Nandito ba siya?
Baka may
Wala.
trabaho po.
Wala po yata, sir.
Okay, busy sa McDo. Okay, Amores Merilles. So dahil nawala si Batanes, mawawala na ng 3 sa Comprogluceno. Babasa. Babasa? Ay, wala. Partner ni Babasa si Poryo. Poryo? Poryo? Yeah.
Sir?
Pareho. Nandyan ka. Partner mo si Babasa. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Next, Canales. Canales, nandito, Shane.
Okay po, sir. Okay po.
Shane?
Para pong mahina ang signal sa kanila. Ay, hindi.
Nandiyan ka, Shane.
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Shane, your partner is Marco. Marco?
Sir.
Oo. Kapartner mo si Canales. Okay?
Okay po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay. Pumarang.
Sir.
Yan. Pumarang. Kapartner mo si Rementilla.
Sige po, sir.
Napapatawa ko. Kaya-kaya niyo yan. Okay?
Sir. Salamat
Okay. Sige. Next. Mera Flores. Mera. Mera Flor. Wala. Juan. Partner mo si Mera Flores. Juan.
Oh, sir. Okay po.
Okay. Kapartner mo si Mera Flores. Okay. Next. Holanda.
Sir.
Oh,
Yes
Holanda. Your partner is Wisco.
Oh,
Okay?
thank you, sir.
Okay, Wisco, are you here? Wisco lang. Wisco, wala. Okay. Orhalesa, Bradley.
Yes po.
Your partner is Valentinos. Valentinos.
Sige po, sir.
Okay.
Okay po.
Valentinos. Okay, good. Padillo. Junel. Welcome
Sir.
back. Your partner is Ella. Si Ella.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
Ella.
Noted.
Sige rin, Ella. Hello. Anyway. Calabano.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Julius. Partner mo si Ken.
Si Ken.
Ken Mendoza.
Sige po, sir.
Okay. De Garcia.
Thank you po,
You're
sir.
welcome. De Garcia. Si Garci na, si Garci. Partner mo, Garci, si Gaod-Gaod. Gaod-Gaod, nandito ka? Wala pareho. Next, Delgado.
Sir.
Your partner is Kalusin.
Sige po,
Kalusin?
sir.
Kalusin.
Yes po, sir.
Delgado, okay?
Thank you po.
Polgerinas. Wala si Michael, ano? Naghahatid ng stranded sa Timonan. Polgerinas, ang partner ay si Malabana. Malabana, wala din siya. Anyway, okay. Let's go to Gumaka Pips. Gumaka, ito ay base sa recommendation. Hindi naman actually. Pinarate ko kayo sa inyong mga professors. Naka-receive ako ng rating sa 5 professors sa Gumaka. Then ako ang nag-group. No? Hindi ko kaya masyadong kilala sa performance. Okay. De Los Santos?
Sir, ang sandali
Ha?
lang.
Canlas? Hindi ba kita nabanggit? Oh, naku, wala ako. Wait lang yan. Canlas. Oh, wait lang ha.
Sir, ayaw ko magsulo.
Ibig sabihin, teka, paano ko nakaligtaan? Ilan kayo sa klase? 30, di ba?
29 po.
29. Nabawasan na.
29 po, tapos nag-left na din si Dayan.
29, hindi nakasama si Dayan.
Kasama pa po si Dayan. Kami po dati 31.
Kayo ay 31, nawala si Ilada, naging 30. Tama?
Saka po si Rabano.
Tsaka po si
Tapos
Raban.
nawala si Rabano, naging 29. Tapos nawala si
Dayan po.
Dayan, 28.
Opo.
O, 28 itong nasa listahan ko. May na-doble. Wait lang. Canlas ba?
Adinig
Canlas?
po para.
Canlas.
Adinig po
Ito.
ba meron?
Hindi ko lang na ano. Canlas, partner mo si Adinig. Ayan. Buti akala ko nakaligtan. Canlas, Adinig. Number 5 group kayo. Okay. Punta na natin sa Banjo.
Sige,
Okay. Partner mo si Sluder.
okay po, sir.
Okay. Sluder.
Yes po.
Noted.
Apo.
Okay. Jaynel
Sir?
Locanyas. Your partner is Montas.
Sige po, sir.
Okay, Montas. Montas. Wala siya.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, partner mo si Locanyas. Okay?
Okay po,
Next.
sir.
Paglinawan. Isa. Si Isa nga ba?
Yes po, sir.
Paglinawan. Ang partner mo ay si Maralit.
Sige po.
Okay. Si Ilagan. Idrian.
Sir, dito po.
Kapartner mo si Ibarra. Aliyah.
Yes po.
Kapartner nyo rin si Clomera.
Sige po.
Okay, so Ilagan, Ibarra, Clomera. Tatlo yan. Next, Magalyon.
Sir. Sir.
Kapartner mo si Escolano.
Sige po, sir.
Okay, Kabanggon.
Sir.
Yan. Your partner is Castillo.
Yes, sir. Okay po, sir.
Okay. Ang Gumaka ba ay may computer professor kayo sa Gumaka? Gumaka?
Meron po.
Meron po.
Meron po.
Ilan? Yung major ha? Sa programming.
Sir, isa pong
Isa lang po.
regular po din.
Ilan ang regular? Isa lang.
Isa lang po.
Oo. May master's yun.
Opo, sir.
Ano pangalan niya?
Ma'am Tin po. Christina Manalo po.
Christina Manalo.
Kirstina po. Kers.
Si Ma'am Curse. Siya ba yung program chair? Ha?
Si Ma'am
Di ko po alam.
po, sir.
Kirstina, yung Kirsh, ganun?
Opo.
Kirstina Manalo. Okay. Ano master's ni ma'am?
IT po.
IT. Okay. So, ito. Pero hindi ako sure dito ha kasi syempre estudyante na kayo ng Lucena. Most probably ang advisor ninyo ay manggagaling sa Lucena campus. Pero kausapin ko rin si director kung may pagkakataon na ang magiging kasi baka masyadong malayo. Pero anyway, meron din naman kaming mga estudyante sa Lucena na taga Aurora, mas malayo. So let's see. Ang pag-apply ng advisor ay after ng title defense. So mag-apply kayo ng title defense after nyong ma-submit at ma-checkan ko ang module 5. So ang module 5 ay i-discuss ng Thursday, September 24. Ang deadline niya ay October 1. So, checkan ko siya at maibabalik sa inyo after kong ma-checkan. Kung meron na kayong mga probable na mga titles na okay, sasabihin ko naman. At kung hindi, ay sasabihin ko idagdagan. Ang Module 4, individual ang pasa. Ang Module 5 ay by group ang pasa. So, pag by group ang pasa, kahit na pareho ng content, lahat ng estudyante ay magsasubmit pa rin. Kahit na pareho ng content. Okay? For monitoring purposes na nag-turned in kayo sa Google Classroom. Tapos after noon, ay di mag-a-announce tayo ng schedule ng title defense. Mag-a-apply kayo for title defense. After mag-apply ng title defense, di a-approve ng director. After ma-approve, we look into the considerations na kung mayroong babayaran. Kasi last year may binabayaran sila. Kasi binabayaran ng panel for their expertise and their time. Actually, pinapakain ng panel. So, kailangan kong i-consulta ang director kasi this is also my first time na mag-handle ng research subject. Pero most of the time, lagi din akong panel. Tapos, after may maipasang title, mag-a-apply kayo for advisor. So, maglalabas naman ako ng listahan ng advisor na pwede nyong pamilian. So, may maximum yon. So, pag sinabing hanggang 3 lang bawat advisor, kung maiwan ka at mahuli kang mag-apply dun sa advisor at nakatatlo na siya, hindi ka na niya mai-accommodate. Okay? Pag hindi pumayag si advisor na gawin siyang advisor, I think you need to look for other alternative and other people na pwedeng maging advisor. Okay? Maglalabas din ako ng list ng technical advisor because you need technical advisors sa field ninyo, lalo na kung ang magiging advisor ninyo ay hindi naman computer experts. May tanong pa? Tanong? Wala na? After may pasa ang title, meron tayong 3 buwan para bunuin ang chapters 1, 2, and 3 bago ulit humarap sa same set of panel na mag-scrutinize ng proposal defense. Then tapos na. Wala po tayong exam ha sa subject na ito. Just stick to our schedules. Kaya kung ikaw ay pure modular at hindi ka nakaka-attend ng online classes, basta kailangan nakakasunod ka sa schedule ng pag-submit ng module dahil pag naiwan ka, ay mahirapan tayong humarap sa defense. Okay. Question, suggestion, clarification, violent reaction? Wala na? Kung wala na, ayun. Meron ba?
Wala na po.
Okay, let's call it a day. Thank you very much. God bless you. I hope you are all doing well and fine physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, kung nasaan man kayo mga lugar. God bless you, people.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you po,
thank you.
sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.